Yo, what's up guys? Gecko here, and today we are making a tier list of all the Gen 8 Pokemon because after I made my Gen 9 tier list, I was like, I've never recorded my feelings on all Pokemon. So we're just gonna be going like in reverse order from Gen 9 backwards. So here are my thoughts on all the Gen 8 Pokemon. This is gonna include Legends Arceus Pokemon. Since they did come out during Gen 8, I'll rank them as well. This tier list maker set up a little weird. It has the regional forms ordered before the starters, but that's fine. We'll just go with the order they have. Let's jump right into it. So first off is Galarian Meowth. Now, I like this dude. I'm trying to decide if he should go in B or A. It's a little hard to place for the first one, to be honest, because there's nothing to compare it to yet. It's like, once I fill up A and B more, I might be like, oh, actually, I like it more than what I have in B tier. For now, though, I'll put it in B. I think Galarian Meowth is very cute. I think it's not super Meowth-like, which is totally fine. I don't fault it for that. I do love the scruffy, like, beard it has, but it doesn't quite feel like a full beard to me, because usually I hate when Pokemon have facial hair. But again, it's always about how it's executed. Like, in this case, it doesn't read like a human beard to me. It just looks like a fuzzball cat. Like, it's just really fluffy and poofy. So I like that, and I like the big toothy mouth that it has too. Galarian Ponyta is so good, dude. It's so good. Like, I love the color scheme. The colors are so pleasing. It looks super adorable. Like, for me, this is a step up from regular Ponyta. Which is funny, because it usually would not be my aesthetic. Usually I'd go more for, like, the fire horse instead of the fluffy purple one. But they just did a really good job designing this one. Honestly, I'm gonna move Meowth up already, honestly. Like, I think I like these two in pretty similar amounts. However, Galarian Rapidash, I'm not a fan of. I don't like how just, like, perfectly smooth the hair is. What I love about Galarian Ponyta is the fluff. Like, it's fluffy and it has these little, like, imperfections of hairs that are, like, sticking out of the bunch. And I wish they had... I get what they were going for. They wanted Rapidash to be much more sleek and kind of regal looking. Which they pull off, but I think I would have liked it more if it had just like a few like hairs like curled up or poking out somewhere, just a little less perfection from it. Galarian Slowpoke is such a weird one because it's not, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand what they were going for. Like, what is the yellow? It has butter on its head. Like, what is the yellow? I guess I'll put it in C because, like, I like Slowpoke. Slowpoke is cute, but I don't really understand what the variant is. I don't get it. And maybe that's a me thing. If there's inspiration behind it that somebody could explain, and I understand it better, maybe I'll like it more. I just don't really get it. Galarian Farfetch'd is great. I absolutely love what they did with Galarian Farfetch. They actually made Farfetch'd interesting. Because sadly, Kanto Farfetch'd is not that interesting to me, but just like making it a little bit more aggressive looking and making the leak giant, like it's lugging this weapon around, is so funny to me. Galarian Coughing is gonna go probably in like C. I liked it a lot more when it first came out, and over time I just have become iffy on it. I like the concept a lot. I like that it's wearing a hat that's also like a smokestack, and it's like purifying the air rather than being pollution based. Like, I like the concepts that went into it, but I don't know, it just doesn't do enough for me. Galarian Mr. Mime this is such a tough one, because like I despise regular Mr. Mime, and I always have, and this one is like a little less creepy, but still kind of weird. I like that it tap dances. Its animations are very fun. I guess I'll put this in D. I don't hate it. I don't put it in F. But it's not for me. Corsola is gonna go probably, this one's probably also a C. It's extremely good in battle, because Eviolite on this thing is insane, and Strength Sap is a broken move. I cannot believe they actually let that into the game. But as a design and as a Pokemon, I don't really like it. This is one where, like, I can get behind the concept of it. I do appreciate what they were going for, but the design just doesn't really vibe with me that much. It's kind of bland. I absolutely love this entire evolution line. These are going right up to S. I don't know, Obstacoon is in here somewhere later. He'll go up here too. Maybe, we'll see when we get there. So good. So absolutely freaking fantastic. I love the black and white color scheme with broken up just a little bit by those red eyes. I love that the tongue is hanging out the whole time. Like that's actually my favorite part of this evolution line. Like I love that aesthetic of like monsters that just they got a tongue hanging out all the time. It's a very lizardy thing. I like drawing lizards that way too, but like it works super well with this evolution line too. Fantastic. Like perfect designs. Galarian Darumaka, I enjoy this a lot. I'm going to put you up here. I love regular Darumaka as well. I really, really like Darumaka, and I can't even explain why, really. There's just something very pleasing about the little plump body. It's just like it's just a little guy. And it's pretty much the same in this form. It's really the same design, but just icy pieces instead of fire. So it works for me because I liked regular Darumaka anyway. However, I do not like Galarian Darumaka. You're gonna go, you probably don't deserve F, but you'll be down here. I can never tell if it's I think it's supposed to be a mustache and beard, but it looks like enormous lips to me, and I don't like that. I do not like the giant lips. I also think the big snowball on the head also looks goofy. I don't know, regular Darmanitan. I was saying Darumaka again, wasn't I? Galarian Darmanitan, I don't know why I said that. Galarian Darmanitan is just such a downgrade from regular Darmanitan. Obviously not in combat. Guerrilla Tactics is a busted ability. Absolutely insane. But in terms of design, the original is so much better. But I will, since this other form is on here, I will rate them separately. Because this actually, I would put like probably up in B. I really like the Zen mode. What a fun idea to actually make it a snowman. Because it kind of has elements of that in the base form. But then to actually turn it into a snowman, and especially like to make it part fire type, and now it's like, it's still hot inside because it's a Darmanitan, so it's like covered in the snow, but the heat blasts out. Like, that's such a fun idea. I really like this conceptually. Galarian Yamask is, I'll put this up in B. It's nothing exceptional, but I like regular Yamask. I like regular Yamask's, like the concept of holding the mask of the face a little bit more than what they did here. But I don't think this is offensive in any way. I think it still works very well. Okay, now we actually get to the starters for the region. I've come around to Grookey. I'm usually not a monkey person, but Grookey's really, really cute. I am one of the few people who loves Thwackey. I think Thwackey's design is fantastic. It has a freaking mohawk, dude. Like, come on. Rillaboom for me is probably like, honestly, kind of a C. I don't know, it depends how I'm feeling. There might be days where I'd put it up in B, but I'm pretty lukewarm on it. Honestly, my biggest gripe with this Pokemon is that the drum isn't incorporated into the design. Like, you send this thing out, and it does the cartoon thing where the character doesn't have pockets and they just pull an item out from behind them. It just pulls a wooden drum out. It's like, bro, where were you carrying that? Like, I would have loved, I've seen a couple Fakemon or like fan redesigns for the concept. I've seen one where it's like a ponytail, like it's like in the hair somehow, and it pulls it out of there. And I've seen one where the drums were actually the chest, so like it beats on its chest like a gorilla and it's playing drums, which was so freaking clever that now I just see regular Rillaboom and I'm like, they were really uncreative with the drum on this thing. Are we rating Gmax forms? I guess since they're on here, yeah, whatever. Scorbunny's a cutie pie. I don't like it quite as much as Grookey, but it is cute. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have very unpopular opinions on this lion, and I don't give a fuck because that's just how I feel about them. This one's fine. I am not as into this as other people seem to be. I think people misread it. Like, people talk about, like, it looks like a ninja or, like, edgy Sasuke vibes, which I guess, like, you could argue it does kind of give off those vibes, even if the design isn't meant to be a ninja. But it's just wearing a tracksuit. Like, it's just a runner. It's got a headband on. It's fine. It's whatever. I fucking hate you. You suck. This design fucking sucks. I don't care what anyone says. It's absolutely atrocious. One of the worst designs in the region, honestly. The Gmax form is really not much better, but because Cinderace is smaller and harder to see, we'll put it in D tier instead of F. Sobble is my baby son. I love him. I love this little boy. As soon as I saw Sobble, I was like, they made a starter for me. That's for me. That's my child. Drizzile, I also really enjoy. I feel like this is where some people started to hate this Pokemon and thought that it got worse. I really like Drizzile. I like the color scheme. I love that it throws water balloons. Like it like makes water balloon bubble things in its hand that it throws. It's so cute. It's a little guy. Inteleon, I have come around to a little bit, not fully. I absolutely despised this thing when it was released. I still think the design is kind of meh, but at this point, I think I'm okay putting it in C. For reference, I would have put this in F when it first came out. I really hated it. I appreciate the spy aesthetic. I like the idea of a chameleon Pokemon having a spy theme. It's fun, even though it's inaccurate to chameleons. It's what everyone associates them with, so it's cool. My main gripe is just like how thin it is. The design looks so awkward because it's a blue stick. It's like this thin, teeny little guy. Like, it just looks off to me. And I also don't quite like the cape/coattail things that it has. I think I might like them more if they were black, because then it would seem like it's part of the suit that it's wearing, so to speak, where its markings look like a tuxedo. I think I would like that more, but since they're yellow, it feels like they're supposed to be like wings or frills of some kind, which I don't really get what they're going for there. I think it would be more cohesive if they were black. So anyway, there's just some nitpicky stuff about the design where it doesn't quite jive with me, but I definitely don't hate it. And honestly, its signature animation where it like has like a finger gun that it shoots with is so sick. The G-Max form, dude, this G-Max form is actually cracked. I'm gonna put this up here. This motherfucker turns into a sniper tower, like on its own, like its whole ass body is this tower that it's sniping you from. That is insane. Squavit is just a cute little guy. It's just a little squirrel. Nothing too exceptional about it. I go back and forth on this one, kind of between D and C. I just don't think it looks very Pokemon-ish. Like, the facial design doesn't look like how they usually do Pokemon faces. Like, yes, elements of it, you can probably find examples in other Pokemon, but when it comes together, there's just something about it that looks more like a different cartoon, like it's from a show, a kid's show or something, instead of being a Pokemon design. Rookedy's probably a B, I think. Or are you A? I don't know. I do like this guy. I like how round it is. I really, really appreciate that it's just pure flying type. I wish they did that with all the regional birds, honestly. Corvisquire is more like a B. I really like birds a lot, so a lot of the bird Pokemon, even if they are just birds, is like, cool, it's a bird. Like, I still like it. Okay, you know what? Looking at what's in the tiers already, I think actually I would move this more down to B, and then like Corvisquire is more like a C. Because I do still like them, but I wouldn't... A is like, I really, really like them. Like, I will gush about them. And then S is like my absolute favorites. Yeah, so I think B makes sense for these. What I was going to say about Corviknight is that obviously it's super cool. It's an armored raven, like badass as hell. But I wish there was just a little more to break up the color scheme. So the G-Max form has the red on the underside of the wings, which is nice to break up that color a little bit. I don't think, like, it's not enough of an upgrade for me to bump it up a tier, but I would have liked something akin to this in the original design, just a little teeny hint of color somewhere. It wouldn't even have to be red. I know the eye's red, but just a little something else. Even if it was like the head feathers, where like the feathers are showing, if that was like black, and then the armor is like the steely blue color, even that color contrast might do a little more for the design, but it really is just like the same color the whole way down. Okay. Here, we need to talk. We need to talk when we get to this, because ever since I made that Paldea tier list, I have been thinking about this Pokemon, because this Pokemon has a very similar issue to Shroodle from Gen 9, which I said was the worst design of that entire region, possibly in all of Pokemon, and I stand by that. And Blipbug, to me, runs into the same problem, and like I need to think on this a little bit more, because this is like a new idea that just popped into my head today, and I need to like look at more Pokemon and rank more of them to kind of see where I actually fall on this concept. But I think what I dislike a lot about the new design direction in general, obviously look at the rankings, there are ones that I really enjoy even from these newer gens, but overall, the art direction is moving away from the style of Pokemon that I really like, and I think this Pokemon accentuates it a lot. The shape language makes less sense to me now than older Pokemon. Like, what the fuck is going on with the shape language of Blipbug? What is this? What am I looking at? what is with the eyes? Why does it have all these weird little things poking out from it? The body shape is weird. The head shape is weird. What the hell is going on? Like, this is the same issue with Strudel. It's just very, very confusing. My cartoonist brain is like, what do? I cannot process this design. It does not make sense. Yeah, Blipbug's design really sucks. It really sucks. It does redeem itself with the evolution though. I really, really enjoy Dottler a lot. I don't really know what it is about it, but something about the shape being like, it is a round little guy, but it's like, but then it's geometric too. So it's like round and friendly, but then also just like has a little bit of edge. And I like that the dots light up on it, like as part of its animation. It's just a fun little guy. Orbeetle also has similar like shape language confusion for me. The leg shape especially is super weird. Or like the limbs in general are very strange. And then I don't get like the 2D eyebrow things sticking out of its face. Not for me. I'm not really a fan of this mon. The G-Max form is a step up for me. The design I still don't love that much, but it's a step up in concept for me because I feel like this is kind of what I wanted from Orbeetle's design. I wanted a more UFO look, like much more clearly that that's what it was in this form. Nickit is a weird one to me. I think Nickit's also a C, honestly. Like Thievel too. These are kind of meh. Gossifleur is cute. It's definitely not like my vibe or my aesthetic, but I definitely don't fault what they did with it. I think it's a good design and it's cute. Eldegoss is also good. I enjoy how poofy it is, and it's got the little seeds stuck in there. It's very fun. Wooloo is so good. I know it's so stereotypical, but like Wooloo's just so cute, and I absolutely love the little braids hanging down from the side of its face. That honestly completes the design, because if those weren't there, it would quite literally just be a sheep, and then we'd have issues like I had with Flamigo. But it has like just that spark of personality with the braids hanging down. It just gives it that extra little cute factor. I also enjoy Dubwool a lot. There was a time where I probably would have put them on equal footing. I think I don't quite like the evolution as much anymore, but still very solid. Choodle, oh dude, Choodle. Ugh, why did they make it look like this? Why did they give it a unibrow that has a curl in the middle? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Like, I can understand wanting to do something different that you haven't done before. It's like, there's 1,000 Pokemon now. It can be hard to differentiate them. Like, I get that it's hard to keep coming up with new designs that feel fresh, but this ain't it, Chief. Like, this guy's going down here. Dreadnought, on the other hand, is really cool. I think that it doesn't quite make it to A for me, if only because the face is, like, a little bit too like basic shapey for me. Like I'm not articulating well what I mean. Like the top of the head is very flat. It looks like if you had like a kid's toy that was just like a cylinder block shape, and that's its head, rather than like if you were trying to make it look more like an animal and more organic, like the top of the head would be more rounded, a little bit more domey. Like it doesn't really look like an organic creature in that sense to me. Aside from that, I do really like the design a lot. I love how jagged the shell is. I love the big like stone thing jutting out of its face. I also really like the lore they gave it, where like once Choodle evolves, a lot of trainers abandon them because Dreadnought is so vicious and hard to take care of. Because that's something that happens with a lot of reptiles. It's really sad. Like in the pet trade, people will get reptiles, especially snakes, because they're like, oh, it's so cool. Like it's this exotic pet I can have. And then it like grows much larger than they expected because they didn't do their research. And then people just dump reptiles like out in the wild, which can be a big issue. Like they're invasive species. Like tegus are invasive in Florida here. And like it doesn't really happen with turtles so much as far as I know. But like, again, snakes just being dumped out in the wild, where one, they're not really going to know how to survive on their own. And two, you just like dumped a python out into an ecosystem where they don't usually live. It's a huge problem. Anyway, I'll get off of the reptile soapbox. I started ranting about that because that's where my heart went when Dreadnought was announced and the trailer talked about its lore. It just hit me a lot as a reptile lover because this does happen a lot. So I'm like, oh, they use that in here, and it's like Dreadnoughts get abandoned, and now I just want to take care of all of them. Actually, you know what? Honestly, get up here, dude. You're adorable. Okay, the G-Max form, also pretty sick. Does it go up here? I think it does. I mean, I don't like it any less than the regular form. It just gets like freaking huge and more armored. Corgi time! It's so cute. Who doesn't love Yamper, dude? Yamper's so adorable. How can you hate it? It's a corgi. Come on. Boltund, though, just doesn't do it for me. I know it's a dog, and usually the rule is like all dogs are good. It's still a good boy. I'm not going to tell a Boltund that it's a bad boy. But coming from a corgi, like, come on. Why did we get this? I didn't want my corgi to evolve. And then I also don't really like the tail. The tail is so, like, there's no volume to it. It's just like one little strand of hair back there. I just don't really care for the design that much. Carkol is super good. I freaking love this. This Pokemon is genius. I love that it looks like a miner's hat. And the eye, it has one glowing eye that looks like the headlamp. And then it rolls around on a rock wheel. It's such a good idea. They fucking dropped the ball though. Like, what the fuck, dude? What is this? Like, this isn't even, the problem is, okay, there are many problems. But let's just start with the face. Why did they make the eyes so freaking triangular? They're like up, like giant triangles on its face. And then two, I don't really agree with the decision to make the whole body a minecart. I mean, you could have done a creature similar to Colossal in the evolution where like it has some kind of like cavity thing on its body that's like holding coal inside and gone with that concept, but like not looked so weird and literally cart shaped. And then also the legs, I wish they were just wheels because they tried to do a hybrid of like its wheels are like legs almost that it's like standing on in its idle animation, but then they also roll. So it's like, okay, anatomically, how does that work? That's super weird. I don't like anything about this design. Colossal, I used to like more when it first came out, but I honestly just don't vibe with this design. And it's sad because I usually really like this archetype of the Pokemon that are kind of just big like monsters and behemoths and don't really look like a particular animal. I usually love that archetype like Nidoking and Rhydon and Tyranitar and those kind of Pokemon. But this one is just a little bit too awkward and like not having much like body shape or like there's no interesting anatomy going on. It really is just a pile of rocks. I also don't like how tall the pile of coal is. It's so tall and thin. It's like that would fall over the moment this thing started moving. Like it should be like a smaller load on its back. It would fall over. Like that's all I can think of when I watch it move. I'm like, no, that coal would dump everywhere. The G-Max form is not any better. It's almost the same thing. Now it's just like, I guess it's like an oven instead, which is like kind of fun, I guess, but meh. I don't know. I guess I'll put Applin in C. I do love the pun. The pun of having a worm in an apple and it's like worm like a dragon. It's fun. I like what they were going for. I like the typing. It's my two favorite types combined together. But I really can't put the design any higher because it is truly just an apple with the eyeballs sticking out. Flapple's gonna have to go in... Honestly, I can't put this any higher than Applin. So Flapple could have been a lot more interesting than it is. I wish the apple was actually more incorporated into the body somehow. Like I get the idea is that the worm is inside of the apple isn't the Pokemon itself. So I get why they designed it the way they did, but like how is the apple attached to its arms? Like it just looks so strange because there's nothing to show that they're attached, but like these apple bits are just on its arms and its tail is just like in this apple or like connected to it somehow. But it doesn't look like it is. Like nothing on the model or the design suggests that they're attached. It also doesn't really look that much like an evolution because it doesn't really grow in size. It's like when it evolves, it just breaks out of the apple, but it's the same little worm guy inside. I wish there was a little more to it than that. Okay, Appleton though is so cute. This little dude, this big dude actually, this big pie dude. The one thing I don't like about it is the ears. I thought they were ears. The things hanging down are actually its eye stalks that flip up. A little bit off-putting. I'm not going to hate or fault the whole design for that. Little creepy. I thought they were ears, which was very endearing, but overall still super cute. This G-Max form, honestly, probably down here. It just gets huge. It just becomes huge, and it's still inside the apple, and there's nothing interesting about it. And also the fact that it's the G-Max form for both is kind of meh. Like this would work for Flapple, but I really don't see this being the G-Max form for Appleton because Appleton has like transformed into a pie. It's not in its apple shell anymore. So this form for it doesn't really make sense. Silicobra is like a bee. I don't love like the face shape, or not the face shape specifically, like the eye shape and like the eyebrows jutting out from it. The facial expression and the way they did the various features of its face are what I'm kind of iffy on. But otherwise, it's cute. It's a little snake. I love Sandaconda. Sandaconda is going to go up in A. I love this big, chonky snake. It's a cool guy. I like this guy. This form is whatever. It's fine, I guess. Cramorant, dude. Cramorant is my boy. This is so fucking funny. I absolutely fucking love its ability. It's so funny. This and Barraskewda can go in B. Again, they're more interesting than other fish Pokemon, but at the end of the day, they are kind of just fish. I like Barraskewda having the propeller tail. I think that's really fun. And I do like the snout and the grin that they've both got. But at the end of the day, nothing too exceptional. Toxel, this stupid fucking baby. I hate this thing. No, not D. Get it down here. This stupid fucking baby. I hate that it has a diaper. Who fucking designed this? Toxtricity is freaking cool, man. So freaking cool. I think I like that form just a little bit more. I still really like both. What a good Pokemon. So I like when I first saw them, or when I first played the games, I was kind of lukewarm on them. I was like, they're cool, but like I'm not super sold on them yet. But honestly, I have to say they're really freaking cool. I love Toxtricity. The G-Max form though is like kind of mid. I like most of it. Like I like the face and the spikes along its back. The tail's too much. Centiskorch, or this is not Centiskorch, sorry, Sizzlipede. C, I guess. It's just not interesting yet. I love the evolution, but it's kind of just meh at this stage. The evolution is really cool. I like the X of like fire on its face. Even though it's a centipede, it's really good. That's the thing, is it's like, I am terrified of centipedes in real life, but centipede Pokemon really hit it out of the park. Centiskorch is very cool. I love Scolipede from Gen 5. They just know how to make good centipede Pokemon. This is a really cool design. The G-Max form, though, kind of sucks, because it's just, like, it's the same but bigger, but also, like, worse, because, like, the face is worse. Okay, Clobbopus. This guy's a little cutie pie. Look at him. Look at this little guy. I love it. It's so shaped. Graplocked is a C for me. This thing is honestly terrifying. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable, but the concept is good, so it'll go in C. But this thing's on thin fucking ice. I don't trust it. Okay, we've got Sinistee. This is like, it's fine. It's a teacup with a ghost in it. I think the evolution is more interesting to me. I still don't really jive with the design because the ghost itself is like, it's kind of meh. The legs are just like these tubes that dangle out the bottom. Hatenna's kind of fun. I think I'll put it in B. I like that it looks like it's wearing a party hat. I know it's like an antenna, it's in the name, but it also looks like a party hat, which is a really fun design choice. Hatcham is just not my thing. Down here, honestly, it's just not my aesthetic. It's not for me. No, Hatterene will go in C. Not really my aesthetic either, but I do like it more than Hattrem. But I like that the face is kind of like concealed inside of whatever its body is made of. I like that the hat has almost like a hand-looking thing on the end of it. So this design has some things I like, even though it's not really my aesthetic usually. This is what's the point? It looks the same. Why did you even make another form? Impidimp is a fun little guy. Morgrem is, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that it has hair. It's even more humanoid than Impidimp was. This is not for me. I used to despise Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl used to be like my least favorite Pokemon. Definitely in this gen, maybe overall too. But I think now I would put it more like D. I've come around to at least be okay with like the goblin-y face. It's supposed to look very hideous, very much almost kind of like Oni-esque or like demon-esque. I can get behind that. I still hate that it's covered in hair. It's so uncomfortable. I hate that part of it. Ugh. The G-Max form fucking sucks though. It's absolutely fucking stupid. Okay, we're at Obstagoon. There's my boy. Go right up there with your buddies, dude. I already talked about this evolution line. I don't need to say anything else. Berserker. Berserker's like a C for me. I don't really like the helmet thing it's got going on. Like, I completely understand the Viking inspiration where it's supposed to look like a helmet and it's got like a beard. Again, I get the design concept. I understand what they're doing, but it just isn't for me. Like, I don't really like how that design ended up looking. Cursula is so whatever. Like, why did they make this an evolution? Why did they name it that? It's so hard to differentiate from Corsola unless you really enunciate Corsola or Cursula. Like, it would be so easy to mishear what people are saying. They shouldn't have made them so similar. Okay, Sirfetch'd is like an A. Sirfetch'd is sick. Mr. Rhyme is surprisingly like a C for me. This actually doesn't like freak me out as much as Mr. Mime does, which is weird because it is still just a human man, which is very uncomfortable. But something about like the clown type face on its stomach, like where it has its clothes look like a face, somehow, I don't know why, don't ask me to explain, somehow makes it less weird and creepy to me than Mr. Mime is. Rune Regis is a B. It pains me to put it there because the design is really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like it. But I just have to fault it for the typing. The typing does not make sense to me. Why is it not rock and ghost type? Why is it ground? It's not made of dirt. It's made of stone tablets, right? Or at least that's my understanding of it. And that's certainly what it looks like in the design and in the modeling game. So why is it ground type? It's just very, very strange to me. And it was such a missed opportunity to have a rock and ghost type. Milcery is lazy, and it's literally just like a splash of cream. So I don't know how that's a Pokemon or why that's sentient. Just kind of a weird design to me overall. Creamy is probably more like a B for me. I really, really love that you can kind of like deck it out with different sweets in its hair, or it gets different colors on its body depending on the charms, or not charms, what do they call them? Is it treats? The treats you give them and how much you spin it and everything. It's a very fun and unique evolution method, and I think it's fun how many different forms there are. So I definitely can get behind that aspect of it. It's just not quite my thing overall. Again, it's kind of humanoid. It's kind of got like the feminine, cutesy kind of look to it, which is not bad. It's just not my vibe. I usually don't jive with these kinds of Pokemon. And then it turns into a giant ass cake. I'm pretty neutral on it because I don't particularly like it or care about it. But it's a fun idea. Phalanx. Okay. Well, we already had the talk. We already had the talk in the last episode about Pokemon that are multiple Pokemon, multiple entities, multiple creatures that are linked together somehow. It makes no sense. In this case, I'm not going to put it in F because I do really, really like the design. I don't like how nonsensical it is that it's one Pokemon, but the design is super cool. I love these little dudes marching around with their shields, and they've got their like gladiator helmet mohawk looking things. It's really fun. It's just not one Pokemon. Pincurchin is like so forgettable. Like, why did they make this? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move Phalanx up. Like, I begrudgingly, I don't want to do it because I don't agree with doing this, with making Pokemon like this. But I really like the design. I really do. Snom is baby. Snom is baby. Who doesn't love Snom? Snom's so fucking cute. I just want to like do a little boop on its head, like just a little scritch on the top of its head there. It's so cute. Frosmoth, like, why would you evolve your Snom? Your Snom is so cute. Actually, you're going down here. I don't really care for this design, honestly. It also doesn't really feel like it fully follows from Snom's concept. Like, yes, it's an icy moth and it came from an icy larva. I get that piece of it. But like the vibe and the personality are super, super different. Like, it doesn't really feel like they're connected to me. Stonejourner, what a lazy ass fucking design, dude. I cannot believe they made one of the most iconic like pieces of art / monuments / whatever you classify Stonehenge as into such a boring design. Like, this is what you did with it? You just took the stones and put a face directly onto the stones and said that was a Pokemon? Come on, man. Step it up. This fucking sucks. Ice-Q also fucking sucks. Fuck this stupid-ass penguin. I don't know why I aggressively hate Ice-Q so much. This Pokemon's so fucking stupid. I hate Ice-Q. Why did they make this? This is not a Pokemon. Look it. This is just a penguin. It literally just looks like a cartoon penguin. They put this stupid-ass ice cube surrounding it. Ugh, I hate Ice-Q. Indeedee, oh my gosh, dude, this too, there are some real duds in this region. Indeedee fucking sucks. Why is this not a regional Audino? They made it look just like Audino, and then they're like, no, it's its own Pokemon. This should have been a convergent Pokemon. This is a convergent form before convergent forms were a thing. It's the same Pokemon, but they just gave it puffy, I was going to say ghostly, but it's not a ghost type. It's just got like wispy ear things instead of the ear loopies that Audino has. But this is Audino, but worse. Okay, Morpeko is a good little guy. I like this guy. I'm not going to rate the forms separately because it's the same Pokemon. My only gripe with this Pokemon, and I'd probably like it more if this weren't the case, it really should change types when it changes forms. Why is it electric and dark? And then even this, like, hangry little form, where it looks so pissed off, is still just electric and dark. Like, I think it should have gone from an electric type to a pure dark type when it switches. I think that would have been a lot more interesting, honestly. But aside from that, it's a cute design. Cufant it's pretty meh. It at least has a cute face, but everything else is just, it doesn't really work for me. Caparaja, fine, I'll put it in D. I don't want to, but like, I don't actually hate it as much as I used to. I used to frickin' despise this Pokemon. I hate how stupid and geometric it is. Its body's just a box. It's dumb. But I can at least vibe with like the fact that it's an elephant. Elephants are cool. And the big like scooper trunk it has. There are things about it that I do appreciate what they were going for. I also do like that it's green. It's like oxidized metal. That was a cool design choice. And the shade of green works really well. So there are things to like about it, but there are also things to dislike about it. It's Gmax form. There's nothing to forgive here. There's nothing positive to say. This is a fucking atrocity, dude. Fire whoever designed this. That was completely a joke. I don't hate on any of the designers who made these. There's a Pokemon for everyone. This one is not for me. Oh, dude, we still have so many more to go. I'm so tired, dude. Okay, we're back. I was so freaking out of it when I was recording last time. Like, my brain was not even turned on. I couldn't even think of Dracozold's name. That's the point I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. So Dracozold is going to be a B for me. I really came around to the fossils of this region a lot. You know, obviously a lot of people had like a negative reaction to them, especially before they understood the inspiration behind them. And honestly, like even once I knew the inspiration, the designs were still kind of meh to me when I was first playing the games, but I've kind of come around to some of them over time. It's completely ridiculous, but it's also kind of cute and weird, but like in an endearing way. So I actually like this Pokemon a lot. Arctozolt though, this one's probably like a D for me. Not really a fan of this one. It is cute that it shivers. That part of it's adorable, but the body is just weird looking. All of these are weird looking, but this one's like not in an endearing way. This one's in a straight up weird way where I don't like it. Dracovish is the one I have really come around on. This thing is so absurd. It is so absolutely absurd that the tail is like also the body and the tail sticks into the fish head as its head. Like, it's just insane. It probably also helps that it's so good in competitive, or it was. Like, I didn't even play competitive in this region, but just knowing that this was one of the things that was like destroying everything in its path makes it extra funny to me. Okay, then we get to Arctovish, and this is just a straight up F for me. This is just not good. I don't like that the mouth is on top. Just the whole design is not interesting at all. It's completely blue. I mean, it's blue and white, but like there's no color variety. It's kind of just bland looking. And nothing about the like the shapes and the body are like that appealing to me. It's kind of just cobbled together, which is what the fossils are, but the others still like have fun shape design to them for me, and this one's just like, it's just a blob. It's just all these parts stuck together. I just don't like it. Duraludon is such a weird one because I really want to like it. Like, the idea is cool. Some of the things about the design are cool, but overall, honestly, it might just be a D for me. Like, I used to like it more when it first came out, and now the more I look at it, I'm like, what were they doing with this design? Like, I don't think I get it. Like, I don't think I fully understand what they're going for or really what it's supposed to be. And then in the Gmax form, when it becomes an actual building, like, okay, actually, I'll put this up here just because it's funny. It doesn't, like, the design is not that good, but also it's funny that it is literally just a skyscraper. Dreepy is so cute. I love this little dude. He's such a cutie pie. Go right up there, my guy. It's so fun. I like the giant, like pointy head, but then it just has like the little arms. I love what it does with the hands where they're just like in front of it. It's almost like the little doggy paw pose, and then it's just floating around. It's a cute little guy. Dracloak is not as interesting to me. It's kind of fun that the little Dreepy's like piloting it almost. But it's not as endearing to me. This one's kind of C. Dragapult, however, is S tier. This design is so freaking good, man. I love Dragapult. I love the body, especially the ghostly tail, where it's like it does have mass, but then it becomes like ghostly at the tip of it. I love that it shoots Dreepies out, like it just launches its own babies out of its head, which is insane. Like, what a wild concept for a Pokemon, but it is so funny and it's such a cool design. Like, it's crazy how they managed to, like, make it so humorous, but also so cool looking at the same time. I respect that so much. Zacian. Okay. Y'all need to chill out with this Pokemon. Everyone's falling head over heels for this Pokemon. This Pokemon is, like, mid. Here's the thing. This concept has been done before, Wolf with a Sword, but it's been done better. Multiple times, in fact. We have Sif from Dark Souls, and we have Okami, we have Amaterasu from Okami. Both of them did it better than Zacian did. Now, don't get me wrong, Zacian is cool. That's why it's in C. I'm not saying it's a bad Pokemon. I just think that the concept is a little bit tired. It's been done before, and so it's not as cool to see it again. It's like, okay, well, now Pokemon did. Zamazenta, though, dude, this is what's crazy about this gen, where like sword version sold better, but shield version, come on, way cooler legendary, way better design. This is original as hell. A wolf with a shield for a mane. Honestly, I don't even see that in general. Like, how many designs have you seen where a shield is like incorporated into a creature's design? Like, we have stuff like Bastiodon. It's not really a shield. I mean, it's kind of a shield. I guess Shieldon, it's literally in the name, but not quite in the same way as this. This is like actually a wolf where it has like a shield built into it as a mane, which is crazy. Like, this design is so cool. I absolutely love Zamazenta. Like, again, I'm not hating on Zacian in the sense that, like, I think it's still cool. It's still solid because it's a wolf. Like, wolves are just cool in general. They're always going to be. But this one just totally wins me over in terms of comparing these two legendaries. Okay, honestly, you know what? Okay, C is probably not fair to Zacian. It deserves a B. It's still a solid Pokemon. I definitely have positive feelings for it, whereas C is meant to be, like, neutral. I do like it. I just think Zamazenta's better. Eternatus is so shitty, man. What the fuck is this design? Like, what were they doing? This thing's a nightmare, dude. It's so overcomplicated. There's so much going on. There's just all these, like, triangles and bits all over it, just all over the place. It's a nightmare. The Eternamax form is a little bit better. I guess I'll put this one. Actually, this one I would say it was worthy of being here. I actually don't really dislike this in any way. In fact, it actually kind of made me, I don't know if nostalgic is the right word, but, like, I appreciated that it gave me Okami flashbacks. Especially since Zacian's with you in the battle, it's just Okami again. It's like, oh, it's my favorite game, but also not, because it's a worse version of it. But I can still appreciate that it looks like a giant hand. Kubfu. You are a fun little guy. I don't really have much else to say about this. Urshifu, both forms are honestly super cool. Like, I'm going to put them up here. I think I like... Oh, whoa, where did you go? Pop down there. I think I like the dark type version just a little bit more. I do appreciate what they were going for with the water type one, and how, like, the water typing that it has is more of like its fighting style than literally using water in its attacks. That's super cool. I respect that a lot. I just think the design of the dark one is more appealing, at least to me. It's more appealing to me. Calyrex sucks, dude. This is another one. What the fuck is this design? I'm just going to say it every time it's relevant. What in the actual fuck is this design? This design sucks. So Rude is so good. Like, I was so surprised when I saw this, because usually I'm not a monkey person. I mentioned that with Grookey too. Usually I'm not super into monkeys. But this design just works super well. I love how, like, dark and vicious it looks. It's so, like, intimidating, but also, like, has the green, whatever they are, like, wristbands. I think they're supposed to be vines, but it kind of looks like it has bands around their arms. That is, like, just a little bit, I don't know that soft is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, a contrast to, like, the really vicious personality where the designs usually are just like really sharp and have jagged fur and that kind of stuff. Like just that little something else really adds to the design for me. So I think Zarude is great. Okay, we get to the Galarian birds now. So I would say Galarian Articuno for me is a C. I'm trying really hard not to base the rating on comparing them to their Kanto forms. I'm trying to base it just on what I think of the Pokemon itself. But this design doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I do appreciate how different the concept is. I like that they went a really different route, even though it still very much looks like Articuno. But the mask doesn't really work for me. I don't know, something about it just doesn't really vibe with me. It doesn't really interest me that much. I do really like Galarian Zapdos though. Galarian Zapdos is very, very good. I love that it's flightless, or at the very, I don't know if it's actually flightless. I didn't get the DLC, so I haven't seen whether it actually like flies in any of its animations or not. But in any case, it's more ground-based than it used to be. And it looks really cool. It just is a really, really cool take on Zapdos that's really different than what it was before. Moltres is also really good. This one, I'm probably going to put in a B. I might have rated it higher when I first saw it, because it's just like the wow factor of like, oh, like black Pokemon that's like really edgy and it has like fire and stuff. Like it's just built to look super cool. But now that I've had time to sit with the design and really like look at it more, there are some things about it that just don't really vibe with me. Like I hate that I can't think of a better way to describe it, but like, you know how sometimes like, you know, you have your aesthetics, you have designs that you're really drawn to and then things that you're just kind of not. And sometimes it's hard to figure out why it is. There's something about it that just doesn't make me love it. Like it's still in B, I like it, but it's just missing a little something that would make me really, really love it. And I'm not sure quite what that is. Regieleki, man, I hate that they made more Reggies, to be honest with you. This is gonna go down in D. It's kind of fun that it bounces around, its animation is fun, but that's honestly kind of the only thing I like about it. I don't like that they made more Reggies in general. Like, and these were really not the typings to go with if you were going to, honestly, because I feel like the Reggies were, I mean, they were golems formed out of different like natural materials. So you had one made of stone, you had one made of ice, and you had one made of steel or metals. And with this one, it's just kind of like, okay, it's like made of electricity. Like it doesn't feel like it fits into that like pantheon of legendaries, if that makes sense. People have tried to talk about like, oh, this is like kind of modern, like technology, and then Regidrago is like the Dark Ages. But I don't really buy into that because I never really saw the original Reggies that way. And maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe that is actually what the original concept for them was. But I just viewed them so much as like golems of nature. So with these, they just don't feel like they follow the same formula and the same concept for designing them. With that said, Regidrago, despite not liking, I guess, the typing or like the direction they went, the design is done very well, I will say that. So this one does go up in B just for looking really, really cool. This one makes the least sense to me. With Regieleki, at least it's still like a natural element, I guess you could say. Not literal element, but you know what I mean. Like it's something that occurs in nature. What is Regidrago made of? Dragon what? Like dragon like energy, magic? Like what is it? I don't even know what Regidrago would be made of. Glastrier is a D for me. It's just very boring. It's a horse with ice frozen around it. Spectrier is gonna go up to like a C for me. There are some things I really, really like. I absolutely freaking love the aesthetic of the hooves being detached from the legs. I've seen this in a couple other ghostly designs, whether it's like Fakemon or just ghost creatures people have designed, where limbs are like detached. I absolutely love the aesthetic. So that's like my favorite part of this design. But the reason it's not any higher than this is because other than those things, the design itself doesn't really appeal to me a whole lot. I was never a horse person. I think they are very beautiful creatures. I really, really love horses, but I wasn't like a horse girl, if you know what I mean. Like those are two different things. Like liking horses versus being a horse girl. Those are two different things. I don't really vibe with like the personality where it's got like the long flowing mane and it almost has kind of like eyelash looking things by its eyes. Just not really my aesthetic in that sense. But I do really like the ghostly elements of the design. Okay, now we get into the Hisuian form. So there's all the Pokemon from Sword and Shield. Now the Legends Arceus Pokemon, though. So the new Growlithe is super, super cute. I love this little guy so much. I love that the fur covers the eyes. It's got little swirly puffs of fur on its chest. And just like the slight change to the colors where it's just a little bit darker is really nice. This is a great regional form. The Arcanine though really does not do it for me. Like this is down here for me. I don't like the shape of the fur, that it got like pointy things going around its neck. And also the fur being black is like, I don't know, I kind of liked that it was still white. The typing is also, I don't quite get it. Like, I know that it lives in the mountains, it's a mountainous Pokemon now, but it doesn't actually look like it's made of rock, which rock types typically are. I think every rock type is either made of rock or like has rocks incorporated into its body somehow. And this one just looks like an Arcanine to me. Hisuian Voltorb is so goofy. I guess I'll place it here. I don't really know what to think of it because it's kind of just the same thing, but it's made of wood now. I do appreciate the typing. The typing's very unique and an interesting combo, I think. But this is just not really a super interesting way to do it. Hisuian Typhlosion is really, really cool. I appreciate this Pokemon a lot. I'm going to put it here because like the thing I like most about it is like the collar of fire that it has. Also, purple flames are super sick. But the actual Mon itself, when the fire's not out, I'm not as keen on. Qwilfish is like almost the same as its original form, which I'm kind of meh on Qwilfish. I want to knock it down for the Q on its tail. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I want to make it D for that, but the design itself is fine. I have nothing against it aside from that. Okay, next we have the new Sneasel, or the Hisuian Sneasel. This one is probably like a B. The original, so much better, but like you weren't gonna beat Sneasel's design anyway, so I would never fault it for that. I think that it's an interesting new take. The color scheme is interesting. I like that it's poisonous. It's got like these giant poisonous claws. That's cool. The new Samurott sucks, man. Like, they didn't really change it that much. Like, they just made the armor, I guess, black, and then I guess like the beard is a little more scraggly, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, this is super uninteresting to me. The new Lilligant, see, this one I'm really torn on because it's kind of more my jam in the sense that like instead of wearing a dress and being all elegant, like it prances around. It's still elegant. It's still very graceful. But usually this would be more my vibe than the original one. But it doesn't really do much for me. This is another one that really comes down a lot to personal preference. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the design. There's not much like bad to say about it. It's just not my jam. It's not my personal thing. Okay, the new Basculin, also very, very similar to the original. Just looks a little bit more ghastly with those icy blue eyes, but I'll put it up here. I like Basculin. The new Zorua is great. I absolutely love this guy. Fantastic color scheme. I love how long and wispy the fur is on the hair and the tail, and then those tips of red. It just looks super good. Okay, Hisuian Zoroark is in my top 10 favorite Pokemon. This thing is absolutely fucking insane. I love this design to death. It's so, so good. Hisuian Braviary is also very, very good. I mean, regular Braviary is sick. I love it. And this one still retains that really like regal, powerful eagle look that Braviary has. But it also like adds these really cool new elements. Like the color scheme is very nice. I love the black and white, but then it's got like the spritz of purple and green, or kind of like greenish bluish, I guess, in that headband thing that it has. Really, really cool design, a really cool like concept for Braviary. I really, really do not like the new Sliggoo and Goodra. Like, really, really not. Sliggoo is just so awkward because the shell is like, it's so big and just lying on the ground, and then the body just like sticks out, like it peeks out. And then Goodra's just too much. Like, again, the shell is so big that it looks like it's awkward. Like it looks like it wouldn't be able to move properly. The new Avalugg, it's really, really mid. It doesn't really bring anything interesting to the table for me. Literally the table, it is a living table. That's what I love about Avalugg. Hisuian Decidueye. Very, very cool design. Actually, this part, I think I would put this in A. Like, it really, really solid design. It's so cool how they managed to take a totally different concept for like an archer that's wearing like a hoodie and changed it, like the concept so much, and it still reads as Decidueye, but has a totally different like vibe and different look to it. Wordeer is so cool, dude. I really love Wordeer. I am so upset that in Gen 9, They brought back Stantler, but they didn't give it the evolution that they just gave it last gen. Why can't it evolve now? Like, I get that, like, they're ancient Pokemon, so it doesn't exist anymore, I guess is the explanation they're going for. But I really, really would have loved to have Wardeer in Gen 9. We've got Kleavor. Kleavor is one that is really unfortunate that it has to go here because this thing has everything going for it in terms of concept. Taking Scyther, which was already so badass to have blades for arms, and turning them into stone axes is such a sick idea. But they really just fell flat on the execution for me. It looks very, very awkward. The arms are so thin that it doesn't seem like it would actually be able to swing those axes around. And then I'm not really a fan of the big, like, radial stones around the shoulders. I don't know if they were going for, like, some kind of armor, almost like they're pauldrons, but it ends up just looking strange. It doesn't really look like armor pauldrons to me. Ursaluna is probably going to be a B. This is one that I think is kind of cute. I really like how the eyebrows look like clouds over the moon on its forehead. That's a really, really interesting design choice that works weirdly well. And I like how chonky it is. I like that it's quadrupedal. That's cool that it gets down on all fours and it's like this big lumbering bear. But I'm not super into the like poofy gray fur around it. I don't even know what it is. Are those like fur spikes coming out of the, out of the gray on top? They just kind of like stick up. That part's a little bit weird to me, but I do like its face. Basculegion. I absolutely love this design. This is such a cool Pokemon. Unfortunately, I don't like the other form that much. One, I preferred the red coloration, and two, I don't like the expression on this one. The expression is kind of weird. Sneasler is a B. This one took some time to come around to. I hated this design at first. It's still very weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's very weird, and I hate how humanoid the animations are. Like, this thing walks up to you with, like, its hand on its hip. I'm like, that is a whole-ass human being. That is not a Sneasler. But if you put aside the very human-esque, like, qualities and animations that it has, the design itself is actually pretty interesting. Overquill is just, I don't know. It's okay. This is another one where the execution is where it falls flat, because the idea of it being like a mine and it's got these big spikes sticking out, that's really fun. And that's kind of what Quillfish was in the first place, but this just like accentuates that idea, which I can get behind. But I don't like the face, and it's so fucking stupid that it evolves to have a capital Q on its tail. That is possibly the dumbest thing I have ever seen in a Pokemon design. I am baffled that they decided to do that. This is going right in F. I don't even want to talk about this Pokemon's existence. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Don't ever bring up this Pokemon to me. Oh, wait, hold on. This is Hisuian Voltorb. I accidentally said Electrode was Voltorb, so my bad on that. I knew something felt weird because I saw this and I was trying to think, like, wait, then what does the evolution look like? In any case, so actually this one I think I'm going to bump up a little more. So I mostly have the same thoughts on it as Electrode because they're almost the same. This one gets bumped up just a little bit for the facial expression though. It looks very cute and friendly. So this is my ranking for all of the Gen 8 Pokemon, but let me know down below what your favorite Gen 8 Pokemon are. Are there ones that you also hate as well? And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.